Farm Sessions, episode 299 on February 6th, 2026. There's a no music podcast today. I don't know what's going on with my phone because I usually just click on and away you go. So 10 minutes later, I said, screw it, I'm going to do a podcast without the music. I know, KJ, mystery, miss it. But talk about the poultry show, big time. My wife doing chores. I wasn't going to mention that, but whatever. She did a great job. If she listens to this once in a while, I don't know. Snowing like crazy in Bradford, Ontario, hour and a half north of Toronto. Had to drive to London. Our poultry show is always in London, Ontario, which is 2 hours and 20 minutes from my house, which, whatever, it was a nice drive. It wasn't driving today with the snow and everything, so. Olympics starting. I just talk a little bit about that. I don't follow the Olympics that much. I said we're talking, the best thing about a poultry show or an industry event, I guess would be a better, unedit, is the social and the connection. You get to talk to everybody about different things and talking to bankers and feed people, and then you talk to other farmers about fertilizer and sprays and profitability on the farm, and then everything to do with chicks and chicken and a little bit about cows, but we don't talk about cows that much. But Mr. Ryan and his wife Britt Crowley there, they came for dinner with Newlands Feed. They owe every feed company. One of the best things about the poultry show is the feed companies. Most of your feed companies rent some kind of an event, and then they take all the customers that show up. They take you out for dinner on the Wednesday night of the poultry show. So Newlands, which is my feed company, take you to the keg. Floridale, which is Mr. Peeler's company, they take you to another keg. Wallenstein, which is one of the bigger companies, they rent an event center, the Royal Bank Center. I think they had over 500 people go to their event. So outstanding. New Life has another event somewhere in Suregain. So everybody takes you out. It's it's an appreciation for your business for the year. And Emmett is on. Emmett, you should come to the poultry show one year because you would enjoy it, and you would say, why am I in cows when this is crazily enjoyable? Because you would have a great time. It's not like I don't know if the Dairy Expo, I have no idea. Do any feed companies take you out for supper at the Dairy Expo? I doubt it, but I don't know. Usually when I used to go to the Dairy Expo when I had cows, you'd usually go up for the day, which is crazy in itself because it's almost 2 hours. And then you'd spend the day there and see everything you've already seen, talk to a couple people, and then drive home. The biggest problem with that, too, is that a lot of the dairies in Western Ontario, and I don't know all those people. When I was on Gay Lee, I knew a bit more people, but it's still not the same. But now I'm on the chicken board, so it's a little different because you get to know a lot of people, you get to know a lot of different folks. I don't know what the hell, Emmett. My music on my podcast, I cannot get it seem to go on. So it was a no music Friday for myself on the podcast. Are you getting all this snow in Rackwood, Ontario? Because my son, we went snowmobiling last night because I was away for 2 days, and he was just rangy that he wanted to go snowmobiling. So it's not snowing at the moment. They didn't cancel school buses today for some reason. I don't know why. I'm glad they didn't, but at the same time, whatever. So is it snowing in Rackwood? Are you going to plow out your laneway for the milk truck? Do you wake up in the morning and plow your laneway out before the milk truck comes, or what time does it come? I know, Emma, you don't interact with me that much on the texting. I get it. I'm just going to ask questions, and I will assume that you do. I have down Boston. I'll talk about the poultry show in a minute because I want to break it up a bit because I got a lot to talk about the poultry show. Boston Pizza, the kids... So what they do with our school and Boston Pizza, so the kids in the grade 8 class are going to graduate. There's not that many kids, and you volunteer. I think it's probably close to 8 or 10 students, which two of my daughters did it actually. So I guess grade 7 and 8, maybe they didn't have enough grade 8s. And mystery. It says mystery entered the studio. Now you're gone. What happened, mystery? Um, so they serve people. So then it gets people out. So all the parents. So we went out for supper to Boston Pizza. I'm not the massive fan of Boston Pizza, but it wasn't too bad. It says you're here, but you're not online. So how are you? Why aren't you listening, mystery? Mister, I should have invited you to the poultry show. Like it's a great time. You might build a chicken barn if you go to the poultry show and have all that much fun. I'm listening. Oh, that's nice. I met KJ's friend Erica too. She texts. I don't have a lot of people on my phone. I just have their phone number and I don't have the connections. Just for some reason, if you don't talk to them all the time, you don't have to put their name in. And then all of a sudden, I get a picture and I was talking to the Newlands feed guy at the poultry show, and all of a sudden I'm like, who is this person? Like who? I don't text her very often. Yes, mystery. Don't text very often. So next thing you know, then I knew. I was like, okay, well, you got to. I had to figure out where the picture was coming from, and then I went over. So she is one of KJ's best friends and a really nice person, down to earth. I think she's a farm girl. I don't know. She just worked for the afternoon and left. So apparently, Royal Bank is not very generous in meals and staying over and whatnot. I guess that's good for your shareholders, but whatever. Mystery, talk to KJ if you want the connections with that one. But so the kids helped. I think they get 10% of the profit or 10% of profits or whatever they make at Boston Pizza, and it's helping them because the grade eights are going on. They usually go on a class trip. I remember we were in school. We went to Ottawa in grade 7, and then we went to Quebec in grade 8. So it is lovely, and we contributed with our attendance. And then they did a 50-50 draw, and of course I didn't win. I said to there's Dana, she's one of the moms of this Jackson student, and very funny, down to earth, had a dirty minded dad, so she is very easy to joke around with and not hold back. And she I said, well, if I win the 50-50, I'm keeping it. You know that. She goes, no, you're not. I'm like, well, then what's the point of giving a 50-50? Why don't you just ask for a donation? I said, isn't the point of the 50-50 is you get 50 and I get 50? Like, if I want to give it back, I will give it back. But I said, why would I give it back? It's 50-50, but whatever. I know everybody's different opinions on that one. Why are you not? I don't understand why you're not on the pod. Anyways, Olympics are starting, and when I was talking to a couple farmers there and people at the poultry show, and one guy said it's not the real Olympic hockey if Russia's not playing, and you can't. I don't know. I can't disagree with that because you want good competition, and I get it in a way why they're not there, but at the same time, I don't know. It's just you get Ovechkin, you get all these Russian guys playing, and it's a good competition, so it'll still be okay, but it will be Canada, U.S., and probably Swede, and somewhere in the finals, and maybe Finland. Finland's got a good team, so we'll see what happens. I'm not. I'd rather watch NHL rather than Olympics, but I do like to see Canadian kids with a Canadian shirt on. That's awesome too, and hopefully my daughter. I'm gonna say you got to watch this. So she's very distracted like her dad and gets distracted, as you can tell from my podcast. So got a bank meeting this morning. Got to put a little more extra cash in my investments, tax free savings account. So then I got to top it up and get it done. I got to hold on. Yeah, the banks were there. National Bank was there. I don't was who. I remember seeing TD people. Some people get cheap, and like my processor sergeants, they get cheap, and they don't even have a booth there, which I don't know why they wouldn't because they're cheap. He says the main guy, Amy, my sales guy, says, "Well, we're saving you money." I said, "I don't think you are. Whether you have a booth there or not, you're here." And then he puts cards there and he wears his shirt, sergeants, and it's like you should have a booth. But anyways, I digress. The hatchery even has a my hatchery Thames River even has a booth. So, but yeah, the CFO Chicken Farmers of Ontario have a booth. They've always had a booth, and we had a lot of people there, a lot of staff, all the directors. But I mean, you're walking around, you're talking to people. They come and talk to you, and it's a pretty good event, and it's a really good gathering of all the chicken industry. And it's great that the feed companies do that because it does probably bring a lot of people out that don't usually come because you get quote unquote free dinner, even though it's not free. And Hubie Jen, I missed you. I don't know why. I know you said you ship chickens, but one of you still could have came. It would have been good. Now you would have had to go to the Wallenstein meal, and that sucks. I heard a couple people that went, and they closed the bar down at 7:30. Like, really? Come on, 7:30, because they are a midnight company and they don't encourage drinking. Blah 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 blah. But like 7:30, come on. But then one guy said they still have Crystal McKay's husband. He feeds with Wallenstein. He says, "Well, you just go around to the tables, and people that don't drink wine, you just grab their wine." I said, "Okay," but I'm not a big wine guy, so the keg Newlands doesn't cut you off. Doesn't cut you off. You keep going. So it's and I guess they had Wallenstein. They had some speaker last year. They had an Owen Riesling from Western Ontario or somewhere out there, and but he wasn't the best in that setting because it was a massive event center and it was just him and his guitar, so wasn't as good. And this year, one of the guys said they had a guy talking about he's an adventurer and he wrote 3 books, and one guy he just he's a pro Wallenstein guy, so he wasn't cutting up Wallenstein. He just says, you could tell he didn't like it. He's just like, all those events, like the keg stuff, you walk around, you talk to people, you socialize. That's what it should be, not necessarily an entertainment factor as far as that. Because you want to talk to farmers. You don't get off the farm that often. I do because of the director role, but it was funny too. We're sitting down, and this one guy is applying for a new entry program. We have a new entry program as well as the dairy. We have a new entry program for the chickens, and I don't know how many applicants. And last couple of years have been 4 to 6. I think it's been going for over 10 years, and we usually get 4 to 6 people that get accepted per year as a new entry. And the one guy was sitting there, and he says, he's talking and talking. He says, "Well, you know who's going to get it?" And I say, "I have no idea." And he looks at me like I'm lying. I said, "Well, even if I do know, I can't tell you. And I'm telling you that I don't know." So the next day I had breakfast with one of the directors, and I asked him about it, and he says, "No, we are not involved with that because it's too much." I forget that. I had the word in my head in the chicken barn, but you cannot interfere with that process because you don't want to sway anybody to getting it. Say, "Oh, I know this guy or I know that guy." So we are taken out of the equation, and it is a third party. And I think a couple of the DCRs have some. They sit on the committee, and it's an outside committee. We got some bankers and accountant and stuff like that, and the staff, and they financially look at their books and see if they can financially do it and whatnot. I don't, like I say, I don't know the exact process. And then they pick a new entry, and they're going to announce that at our annual meeting every year, and that is in a few weeks, 3 weeks, I think it is our annual meeting, March 4th. Mister, you should go to that in Mississauga. And but I do know that I think we have to approve it at our next board meeting next week. No, sorry, in 2 weeks. So we will know a little bit ahead of time, but at the same time, like we're not telling the person what who's got it and who's not. So it's just it's one of those things. Emmett, you're just loving the show every second. I don't know what's going on. Unedit it. It is just snowing away. Like I said, my son, he was very disappointed. He didn't get to go to school, or he got to go to school today. And basically, he wanted to snowmobile with me all day. And I said, no. I had to do the chickens. My wife did the chickens. And like I said in the past, she does a great job, but she's not thorough in it. She does not like to humanely euthanize the chickens that need to be. So they are still in the barn, and I have to do that when I walk through the barn. So I have to do that. So she's not thorough. She's good at doing it. She makes sure everything's right, makes sure everything's good, but does not do the culling that needs to be done. So when I come home, that is my job. So, and the cows too. They need a bale of hay, and my wife doesn't like to drive the skid steer, so not doing that either. But Mr. Fenton, if you had seen, I don't know if you're on that chat or not, Mystery, and I think Emmett, but I know your wife. Mrs. Foster sent me something and said, "Oh, Fensky." So Fensky, Sean Fenton feeds with Newlands Feeds, or sorry, feed. He does actually feed, but he's a salesperson for Newlands Feeds in the Chatham Ridgetown area. And if you know Fenton, Fensky, you would buy feed from him no matter what. Like a great one of the greatest guys. So it was funny because I walked into the show on Wednesday and I didn't have to work till noon, but I showed up and you want to walk around and see the stuff yourself and talk to some people and whatnot. And all of a sudden it's this P&H booth. I started talking and I said that kid kind of looks familiar. And I start talking and I forget what his first name is, but he says such and such Fenton. And I said, "Are you Sean's son?" He goes, "Yep." And he kind of looks a little bit more like he's got a little bit more mum in him right this second, but it's pretty cool. So, and they went out the night before to their P&H, and I think he said they went to bed at like 12 or 2:30. I think I went to bed at midnight on that day, and I told him, I know he's young, I think he's 20, whatever, 22 or something like that, and I said, "There's no good that comes from staying out after midnight." I get it when you're young, that's good, but I was not going to go to a hospitality lounge or whatever after the keg was done and Newlands was done. Our hotel was right down there. I said, "I'm not going to a hospitality room. I'm going to bed." Kind of got to be on the ball too in a way. You don't want to be sitting at the booth like falling asleep. So you got to do that. Adult responsibilities, mystery. It's just I know I'm growing up, but at 52, I'm growing up. I said, "There's no good that's going to come of that. So I might as well just go to bed." But he's young. Do it when you're young, 20, whatever. And he's got a good background. He's got a great mom and dad. So, and the sister, Sean's daughter is pregnant. She's due in May, I think. So she was there as well. She works for the Royal Bank. I wonder how she got that job through Janice Anderson, I'm assuming. And so she's due in May. So that it was good seeing all the Fenskys, and we got a picture and whatnot. So it was great. Who else? I'm just trying to think. I don't see Crowley there. Your Dave Crowley, your classmate there, mystery, but he's probably there somewhere. Yeah, but I don't know who he feeds with. He's organic, and yeah. And then New Life Kim. I know New Life Kim might be listening to this one day, but she's not New Life Kim anymore, as I mentioned in the past. She's Wallenstein Kim, and I like Wallenstein Kim. Come on, Kim. If there's one person too, you would buy feed from Fensky, and you would also buy feed from Kim. Like if my feed guy was no longer, if he retires, I don't know, but Wallenstein Kim, I think I'd have to feed with her because she's a pretty good person. 4 boys. I think her brother's got like 4 boys, and their other brother has 3 boys, and then there's another brother that has 2 boys and a girl. I said, "Holy crap!" And boys, like unbelievable. So yes, Wallenstein. That's new. Like, they're one of the biggest feed mills in Ontario, one of the biggest feed mills in North America. But I am not a massive fan. I tried them and I gave them a shot, and I didn't. They weren't as good in my barn and my results as Newlands has been. So that's why I'm sticking with them. And my feed guy's pretty good too. So poultry show, New Life Kim, Miss Hubie Jen stood at the booth. I guess all of our directors are there. They usually have a chicken lunch the first day, turkey lunch the second day. Oh, Emmett, like in the show. And yeah, Mr. Ryan Crowley is walking around. He's applying for the new entry program. As I said, I have no influence on it, but I usually give them the figures. Whatever quote is at the moment, you times that by 4. But if you're a new entry, I do know the new entry program is you have to buy 4,000 units. I mentioned this before in my podcast, but you have to buy 4,000 units, and then over 15 years, the board lends you 10,000, but you have to pay them back. So whatever quota is at that time. So say in 5 years you have to buy another 3,000. Whatever the quota price is at that time, if it's gone down $50, which is good for them, or up $50, which is bad for them, they have to buy it if they want to stay in the program. So you get that 10,000 units interest free for 15 years, but then you have to buy it back, and it just saves you that interest payment. But you can't get bigger. Like you can't. There's 14,000. You can't just say in 5 years. Well, now I've made enough money. I don't know how you would, but now you've made enough. Oh, KJ's entered the studio, but you're not on my screen either. So Mystery and KJ are not on my screen. Did you you got the picture with me and Erica? She had to leave that I don't she had to leave. She had to go do something. Didn't even stay and party and whatnot, so that's fine. Um what was I talking about a second ago? I shouldn't even say that. What was it? Oh, new entry. And so they get the 4,000, but and the only drawback and restriction is that is you can't get bigger. So if you have the new entry program, you have 14,000 units in 5 years. You say you want to buy another 10,000 units, you can't. Like you just there's no. That's the restrictions. We lend as a board, we lend you the 10,000. You can't get bigger. Which is when I got in it, I bought the 14,000 and went into debt. But then when I sold my dairy quota in another, I think it was 4 years, 4 to 5 years after that, then I bought another 4,000. You can't do that with new entry program. So there is a bit of restrictions, and you can't get. I wouldn't have been able to build another barn either. So there's some restrictions, but if you, it's a very expensive business to get into, the same as dairy at the moment. But so I'm not going to say I hope he gets in because there's probably a lot of other good candidates, but I'm rooting for you root for people you know. So who knows who's going to get in? I don't have a vote on who goes in. You have to go by the committee. So and it's my first year at the board, so I don't know how it's done either. So I think they present the ones that they've approved, and you just approve the agenda. So I don't know. Hockey tonight, and guess where we got to go tonight? Yes, we got to go to fucking Aurelia. So we got to go an hour straight north of myself on in this weather, which is snowy day. So hopefully our great snowplow drivers get out there and get it done because we will be going north at 4:30 this afternoon, which is going to be a shit show because everybody else will be going north at the same time because everybody has got to get home from work. So it'll be tough. I think. There you go. Was just saying my. I always get emails all the time. Emails. I gotta go and feed the beefers too. So, yeah. So that should be good. Aurelia's the number one team, and we're the number two team, and we lost in a tournament 1-0 to them a couple months ago last year, and I think it's payback time tonight. What do you think? My daughter's got to pop a couple in the net, and we'll see what happens. And it should be a great should be. Oh, I have down on my I wasn't looking at my sheet. London KJ is a bit of a crime scene. So I was worried. So we stayed over the one night. So if you go downtown, there's a hotel called the Armories, and I guess there's valet parking. So to get valet park, I don't know where they take it. So the feed owner, Scott Newlands, his window was broken last year. Somebody breaks the back. This is how these thieves are now. They're not even I don't know if that's smart or stupid. They just break your back window and then they open the window and they see what's in the truck and they take whatever's in the truck, change, whatever's on the seat, sunglasses. Did it to another guy. And then it happened again this year to him. So it was I said, if the valet's parking, you think there'd be something to do, or they'd have security. And then in our hotel, we stayed at the 4 Points up near the 401, and there was a truck in the parking lot that had their back window broken as well. At least they're smart enough to do the back passenger window, which isn't as bad. If they do the drivers, fuck, driving home 2 hours, it's not you're not going to get your window fixed like that either. So London is a crime center. KJ, what is going on? Like I don't get it. I could go on and on as a negative about London, but the sprawl of that city, like you go down Wellington Street, so you have to when you stay in the 4 Points and you go down to the Western Fairgrounds, you go down Wellington Street. It's a pretty long drive, and just the sprawl of I don't know little houses and little shops. I said they need to like demolish a lot of stuff. Emmett. I like in the show all the time. They need to demolish a bunch of stuff and build new. I don't know why they just keep buying more farmland and wreck stuff and expand with the exact same freaking stores and shops on one side as the other. So they need to have some control and say, okay, no more farmland is going to be taken up around London, and then they can start building within and just change like Vegas. They take it down, they build. They take it down, they build. So I don't know. I have issues. I don't issues. I know I have no more issues. Let's put it that way. Thank you for listening. Chickens are still doing good, and they're doing well. Like I said, my wife did a great job. So I said I got my bank appointment. I got to plow some snow, and daughter's hockey this afternoon. My son will be mad because he'll want to go snowmobiling again. And this is the joys of buying a new snowmobile. Buy a new snowmobile and the freaking thing backfires like crazy. And the easiest fix for myself, I'm not going to take apart the carburetor because I don't know how to do it. Easiest fix for myself is take out the spark plugs, fix them. So KJ and Mystery, I haven't heard from Mystery very much on the show, but he said he was listening, so I don't know why he couldn't log on. But KJ, guess what I don't have today for my listeners? And I don't know why. I do not have music. I don't know why I don't have music today. It's pissing me off, but I don't know why I don't have music today. It's crazy. So you can sing in the background. Do 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 do. Thank you for listening. KJ. I will make it up to you with an extra long intro and everything else the next time. Thanks for listening, everybody.